Every shooter asks you to pull the trigger. Spec Ops The Line is the only one that asks if you should, and then refuses to answer for you. Because the game doesn't punish you, it doesn't judge you, it leaves you alone with what you did. And to do that, it has to lie. At the beginning, Spec Ops looks exactly like every other military shooter. You have a mission, you have a gun, and you have your orders. You are Captain Walker, sent into Dubai to find Colonel Conrad after a sandstorm wiped the city off of the map. Nothing tells you that you shouldn't be here. At first, everything feels familiar. The enemies are targets, the objectives are clear, and violence feels relatively clean. But slowly, the comfort disappears. Enemies stop being faceless. They talk, they beg, and they scream. And the civilians just don't vanish. They are caught in the chaos. The game never stops you. It never corrects you. It never tries to pull you back. It just watches what you do when no one tells you to stop. Eventually, Walker meets a CIA agent. Out of nowhere, the agent appears during an ambush. He throws a bomb, shouts for Walker to run, and then vanishes. No explanation, no answers. Later on, Walker finds him again, captured, beaten, and moments from death. At the same time, civilians are being rushed away by the enemy. This is when the game gives you your first choice. Either save the agent or save the civilians. But no matter what you do, the agent dies. But with his last breath, he gives Walker an order: go to the gate. And suddenly the choice feels like it mattered, even though nothing would have changed the outcome. But that's where the trap closes, because the game doesn't punish you for the choice you made. It doesn't tell you that you chose wrong. It just gives you a goal, and Walker grabs onto it, because the agent's death has to mean something. Stopping would mean admitting he died for no reason. When Walker reaches the ridge overlooking the encampment, he sees armed soldiers between him and his objective. He's outnumbered, but luckily for him, there's white phosphorus nearby. The camera pulls back. Enemies glow white, and distance turns people into shapes. You've seen this before. It looks like the AC-130 mission from Modern Warfare. Everything is elevated, it's detached, and it's clean. Because shooters taught us that when violence looks clean, it is. Spec Ops uses this familiarity because it knows you'll trust it. But then the camera drops. There is no music, there is no victory screen, and the game makes you walk through the encampment, through burnt bodies, through soldiers still alive, through screams that don't fade. And then the camera pans to a mother on her knees holding her daughter. Both burnt, both still. Her mouth is open in a scream of agony. Not because she's yelling, but because that was the last thing she ever did. Walker knows the moment he sees the pile of dead civilians that the gate wasn't a strategic military target. It was hope for the innocent to escape this city, and Walker destroyed that hope. Behind him, his squad mates are arguing, their voices muffled like they're underwater. One is shouting at the other. There's anger, there's panic, there's blame. But he doesn't argue, he doesn't justify what he just done, because acknowledging what just happened would mean facing it. So he moves forward with his objective, because motion is the only way to escape his actions. From here on, the game keeps testing the same thing. It's not your aim, it's not your skill, it's your morals. Do you let a man burn to death for destroying the city's water supply, or do you end his suffering? Do you fire on civilians in a panic, or do you slow down and find another way? Do you keep chasing answers, or admit you should have stopped playing the game hours ago? None of these choices actually change anything. Walker can't stop because he isn't trying to save Dubai, he's trying to save himself. And shortly after the white phosphorus incident, Conrad finally speaks to him over a walkie-talkie. Not as a commander, but as a dictator, forcing Walker to make these choices. Conrad becomes the villain Walker needs, because if Conrad is evil, then Walker isn't, and everything he's done is justified. But when Walker finally reaches Conrad, the lie collapses. There is no villain. Conrad has been dead the entire time, and the real mission was never to save him. It was to find survivors and call for evacuation. But that mission didn't make Walker a hero. it made him a witness, so he rewrote it. For the first time in the entire game, Spec Ops finally gives you real agency. You can shoot Conrad or you can shoot yourself. If you shoot yourself, the game ends. Walker takes responsibility for his actions and he cannot live with it. If you shoot Conrad, the game continues, with Walker knowing what he has done. If you shoot Conrad, a rescue squad arrives. You can either surrender to them or you can fight them. You can understand that everything that happened, every choice you made was your fault as the player, or you can complete Walker's villain arc. And the game doesn't tell you which is right because it's done guiding you. Every shooter asks you to pull the trigger. Spec Ops is the only one that asked you to stop. And when you couldn't, it made sure you understood one thing. You were never the hero. Spec Ops was built around a single idea, and that was not to glorify war. But the next game I covered was built just to buy time. You can watch that video right here.